What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to The Breakdown. I'm Alex here with Peyton and Cameron. Today we're going to be going over our NFL division winners and our playoff picture for the upcoming season. Season starts on Thursday, so let's get right into it. I'm looking at the first division here. I got the AFC East. Who do you guys have winning the AFC East? I think that's probably the easiest pick out of any division.
Yeah, I agree.
I have the Bills.
I have the Bills going 13-4. They're insane. I mean, they got Von Miller. They got better on defense. They have two All-Pro safeties.
Probably the best team in the league.
Probably, maybe one of the best teams.
They're one of the best teams in the
I
league
think,
for
yeah.
sure.
I agree.
And looking at the rest of the division, I think the Patriots are a team that I don't see them making the playoffs, but
I see them in the hunt.
I see them in the hunt, yeah, and I think there's a chance that someone who we think makes the playoffs doesn't get in. They're just so well coached. I see them as kind of like a 9-8, but they're a little buffer team.
Yeah.
And then I don't think the Dolphins and Jets do anything special.
I do think Miami's a little slept on this year. I just think like their weapons are too good to count them out. And I think although the Patriots probably did get better, they did get worse. They lost Josh McDaniels, and then their whole offensive scheme has just been like you saw in the preseason. Like it was so bad. Mac Jones did not know what was going on. He's throwing interceptions, just poor performances all around. So I think the Patriots finished probably a game below 500.
Really?
Yeah. And then I think the Dolphins eclipse double-digit wins, and I think they sneak into the playoffs.
I think Miami is a very solid team. I think I could see them playing very good, but I don't see them winning many games.
If I'm being honest, I like kind of everything except I'm just not a big Tua guy.
I don't like Tua, and also their schedule is ridiculously hard this
they have a
year.
really tough schedule.
They play a lot of non-AFC East opponents that are very good.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm pretty sure they match up with the NFC West this year, which
So-
is very tough.
Yeah.
The Dolphins finished 9-8 last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they add Tyreek.
But
They also
I
played
think
they
one of
added
the-
a
they also
better
played one
head
of the- they
coach.
also played one of the easiest schedules last year as well. so.
Exactly. I think for me and not everything is just based on I think the Dolphins have a solid roster, but I look and also a bunch of the teams in the AFC, like you're gonna look at them facing up against the AFC West, right?
Right.
Like do I see them beating a lot of the other AFC powerhouses? I don't. And then like Peyton said, the NFC West where you have three really good teams.
But that's exactly what I'm saying. Like the Broncos, who both you'll have over the Dolphins, they have to play the Chiefs twice, the Chargers twice, and the Raiders twice. And I don't see them really
I
being.
think the Broncos are a way more complete team than the
I
Dolphins are.
100% agree.
Yeah.
Especially with Russell Wilson.
I'm not going to disagree with that, but they also have to play the Chargers twice, the Chiefs twice, and the Raiders twice, and I don't see them.
But they're out of division.
Yeah.
But
Opponents are a lot less hard.
That's 6 games. That's 6 games.
I
I could see them easily splitting with all of those teams.
All right,
Whoa.
we'll get to the AFC West in a minute. Which actually, let's just move on to the
Go on the
AFC
AFC
West.
West, honestly.
I have the Chargers winning that division, but I think this is by far the hardest division to even think about because I have the Chargers, the Chiefs, and the Broncos all making the playoffs.
I have the Chargers as my number one team as well. I think they're the most complete team in the NFL.
I
right now.
agree. I think the Chargers and the Bills are the 2 best teams in the AFC.
For me, it was the step up in defense that they had. That defense was not very good last year, and they add Khalil Mack.
They added a top 5
They add
quarterback.
J.C. Jackson and Derwin James got
Exactly.
paid this offseason, one of the best defensive players in the league.
The only problem I see them having.
And they traded for what's his name? On the D line.
Yeah, Mack. So
Yeah, you already said that.
Mack and Bosa.
The
Yeah.
only problem I see them having this year is their linebacking core. It was not very good last year, but they also made some mid moves to get better linebackers. That's the only thing I'm concerned. But this team is way better than the defense is going to be way better than it was last year. Adding a top 6
And their
corner,
offense
JC.
was already one of the best offenses.
They probably have a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah.
They have Eckler.
They
did
sign
sign Sony
weapons.
Michel.
The wide receiver. I mean,
Yeah.
their core is amazing.
And then who do y'all have finishing in second place? I have the Chiefs in second and the Broncos in
I
third.
had the Chiefs in second.
Chiefs
I don't see a world where the Broncos beat out the Chiefs.
I think the Broncos have a more complete roster than Kansas City,
Yes.
but
But
I
the
just
Chiefs
can't-
have Mahomes.
The Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes, and I think they've been so good these past couple of years. I can't see them, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos maybe got off to a little bit of a slow start with just everything that's been changing. But the Broncos as a third place team is pretty ridiculous.
They're
'cause
going to be the best third place team.
They're probably a
Yeah.
first place team in a lot of other divisions.
I think the easy comparison is at the AFC West is the exact same as the NFC West was last year. It's
Yeah.
like the Cardinals were a pretty solid
Fringe.
team last year, but they're a fringe playoff team because they play in that ridiculously hard.
And then obviously the Seahawks with Russell Wilson was also a really good team. So it's
Exactly.
and then I have the Raiders sitting in the cellar here, and I don't think that the Raiders are a bad team, but they're just not better than anybody else in their division. Their defense is pretty bad.
I agree, but I would say if the Raiders come out and like make the playoffs, it wouldn't be that surprising.
I think they could also steal some games in division too, because of the familiarity and all that. I think they could definitely steal some games. I could see them stealing a game from like the Chargers or the Broncos.
I think that division will beat up on each other.
Oh, I
can see that easily. But I just
There's
see
gonna be some super fun games.
I just see the Raiders defense just like you can see like other defenses in this division bending, not breaking. But I think the Raiders are going to allow too many touchdowns to keep up with other teams.
And then moving on to the AFC South, this is another pretty poor division.
This is the worst division in football.
Yeah, I have the Colts winning this division. I don't think it's really close.
Right.
I think they are going to steamroll.
Not even close. Really.
Yeah.
I don't.
I
Like
mean,
the Titans
I think the
this
Titans
year.
are really well coached, so that's why they're always in the mix. They've won the division the past 3 years. I think most of that is because of Vrabel.
They also run the hell out of the ball.
They lost AJ Brown, and
That
he was a big
defense is not
contributor to
very
the whole
good either.
offense.
Their defense is very bad.
So I think the Colts, and I do think the Colts do take a step up with Matt Ryan this year. And the Titans, I think the Titans pick off maybe. I think they're a team like the Patriots, like 8-9, 9-8. Maybe they'll probably get into the hunt. And then the Jaguars and the Texans. I mean, Texans aren't trying to win, and the Jaguars.
Texans are trying to get CJ or Bryce.
Jaguars have only one way to go from last year, which is
Jags
up.
are trash.
And then the AFC North. This is a division that has had a lot of offseason controversy.
This division is very good as well. I mean, I think the AFC is
The AFC is so sad.
stacked this year.
It is.
But I think that there's a clear cut number one. I think you have to go Cincy.
Oh,
No,
I got the Ravens.
I got the Ravens as
Really?
number one. I think a shocker pick this year.
I don't even think that's a shocker pick.
I don't think it's a shocker pick, but I think the Bengals were so fortunate last year as every single team in that division was hurt last year.
Exactly.
I love the Bengals. I love what they do. I love their offense. Their defense is it's okay.
It's getting.
But I think the Ravens are a more, you could say, a more complete team than the Bengals.
I do really like that pick though. I think the Ravens. I already said something about Lamar Jackson earlier.
I think
We'll
Lamar-
get into it later. I think Lamar's gonna have a monster year.
I think they do lack skill players, especially wide receiving core.
Absolutely.
I think their wide receiver 3 was Isaiah Likely. That's what they said.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
that's
their third option.
That's
He's
their
a
third
rookie
option,
tight end.
and that's just not really.
It's sad.
Also,
That's concerning.
Also, you have to look at J.K. Dobbins that he comes back healthy because he's been a little
Limping all over
limping
the practice
in
field.
practice. So you hope that he comes back healthy because he's an extremely efficient runner.
I think the Ravens are a team that can make a play for like OBJ or Will Fuller or some game changer on the outside that can change the whole course of their offense.
And I think Lamar's the most dynamic, or one of the most dynamic players in the
for
NFL.
sure.
He's probably the hardest player to game plan around for like a defense. So just having him alone, I think he's up there with the Patrick Mahomes.
And do y'all have the Bengals as a playoff team?
Yeah, no, so
I
the
think
Bengals.
100%.
I have the Bengals as I think the same record as the Ravens. I just think the Ravens just win that division. I don't know.
Tiebreaker,
Yeah.
And then Pittsburgh and Cleveland. Pittsburgh, I
They're
think
probably going to be
Pittsburgh.
one of the worst teams in the
Really?
league, I think.
I feel like Pittsburgh is they're gonna be below 500, but I feel like they're gonna be tough. I have them finishing over Cleveland.
Bottom teams in the NFL.
Yeah, I think they're a bottom 10 team. I just don't like really anything.
I
on
think
that
they're
team besides
just
some
way
of their
too well
defense.
coached, especially with Tomlin. They've never finished the season under 500 with Tomlin.
That's crazy.
And I don't think it starts now.
I mean, they have one of the best players in the league, TJ Watt.
Yeah,
Right.
They also have great receiving weapons.
Minka
They have a
Fitzpatrick.
great running back.
Bush. I kind of like the Steelers.
I think they're just.
I think if the
they're just a
Steelers had a good
away.
quarterback, like
exactly.
I'd see them in the playoffs.
And then I have Cleveland finishing last because I think Jacoby Brissett is not a starting NFL quarterback, and
With Deshaun Watson, no, that's just tough.
when Deshaun comes back, I still think that
I don't know. I
it's
feel
going
like
to take a few games for them
I
to
feel
get going.
I feel like the ceiling for the Pittsburgh, the feeling for the ceiling for the Steelers could be pretty high. I feel like there is a chance they sneak into the playoffs.
I could definitely see it if Trubisky or maybe even Pickett comes in and
But I really think their floor is just.
I agree with that.
I
They
think
could have
think
a really bad
I
offense.
think they start Pickett. I think if you want, I think look in the preseason games.
You think they should start Pickett or they will?
I think they should.
They should.
I
I think
Pickett-
they should start Trubisky.
I don't agree.
In the preseason, Pickett is 24 years old. Pickett's 24 years old. He's a rookie at 24 years old. He looked way more comfortable than Trubisky did in the preseason.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
Pocket presence.
Trubisky has just
Making
way more
good throws.
experience
I understand
and
experience,
has done it.
but the Steelers are they're a winning culture. They're not looking for a guy that's gonna be under pressure throwing picks all the
but
time like Trubisky.
I don't. You don't. I don't think you need to rush Pickett in because
I don't think you're rushing him in when he's arguably close to the same age as Trubisky is.
I know, but I think you just have.
Well,
I
yeah,
think-
close to the same age, but with way less NFL experience. Trubisky led a team to the playoffs
Yeah,
multiple times.
I agree.
Led
Right.
Yeah, look, he did.
his defense led him to the playoffs.
He had one really solid year. We can
Didn't he
admit that.
finish like 12-5 one year?
Yeah,
12
I mean,
and
come on. He was an
12
MVP
and 4.
favorite
He
at
was.
one point. Moving on to the NFC, into the NFC East. This division, I have the Cowboys and the Eagles.
Cowboys
I
11
think
6.
this is a really good division. Top heavy. Like I think it's really top heavy, but I think the Eagles and the Cowboys both have a chance to make the NFC Championship. I think they are both a really great team, and I would not be surprised if the Eagles came out and won the division and finished like 13-4.
Hear me out. So I have the Eagles finishing behind the Cowboys, but I think the Eagles have a higher ceiling than the Cowboys.
Agreed.
I think if Jalen Hurts steps up as a passer, how far they can go a lot farther than the Cowboys because I think we kind of know what you're getting with the Cowboys, but I think the Eagles have that element of surprise and that element of they have, what John just said, like a huge ceiling. If Jalen Hurts really steps up and shows that he can be that pocket passer, I've seen he's been
really
more accurate.
really good reports about
Yeah,
him.
exactly.
Yeah, taking that step up into stardom.
And then behind them, I have the Commanders in third and the Giants in fourth.
Agreed.
I think Commanders will be like a 6 or 7 win team.
Yeah.
Giants 5-6 win team. Well,
I don't really understand. Like, why did they trade for Wentz? Because that does not push them over the edge.
They just
whatsoever.
I guess want to compete. I don't know. You know.
Maybe it gives them a shot.
I mean,
I highly doubt
maybe.
it.
The roster around him isn't horrible, but their defense was really bad last year, and their defense really needs to take a step up.
It was weird because they were one of the top
defenses the year before,
and then
they
a
were
huge step
horrendous
down.
last year. And Chase Young's
Chase
coming
Young
back.
will be back.
So, you hope that helps them. And then the NFC West, another good division.
See NFC West, I think
Excluding the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks will be the worst team in the league. I'll say that.
the best
Really?
team in this
Yeah.
division this year will be the 49ers.
I
The
disagree.
San Francisco 49ers
No,
won this division this
I
year.
love that pick. I have the Rams finishing first, but I have the 49ers.
If
going
you want to
far
talk
in the
about
playoffs.
ceilings with the Cowboys and the Eagles, the ceiling at the 49ers, I could see them winning the Super Bowl this year.
Look, the Rams won the Super Bowl last year. Did they take a step down besides losing to
No,
Oklahoma?
but it's so hard to repeat.
They did, okay, first of all, I did take a step down. I lost Von Miller, I lost Andrew Whitworth, was one of the best tackles in the NFL. So they're losing key guys. Stafford has an elbow injury,
no,
which is
he's better.
He's okay. I understand.
It's still there.
I understand
It's
healthy,
still
but
there,
if that there's always comebacks with inflammation. Elbows always get inflamed. That always happens.
Even if they say that he's not limited, it's something to just you keep in the back of your head when you're thinking about it.
Don't get me wrong. I love the Allen Robinson signing. I think he's gonna take away from Cup's. He's gonna balance out Cup's production a little bit, but I think the Rams, where they were last year, like the 49ers almost beat them last year.
Yeah,
Like
they were like one dropped interception away.
literally, Tart dropped the interception, NFC Championship,
Yeah.
and they should have been in the Super Bowl.
And in my opinion, the 49ers upgraded quarterback.
Yeah, I think they'll be the quarterback.
Their scheme, I'm so excited to see what they do with Trey Lance.
I'm
Yeah, it's
excited.
gonna be
I'm
fun.
excited to see how they
I
use
think-
Ayuk this year. I think that's a
I think
X factor.
I think you got to give him one more year. I think you give Lance this year.
But we've seen it with rookie quarterbacks who just.
Go off.
I'm not saying Mahomes, but it's happened before, and I would not be. And you got to think he's not your typical like first year starter. He played in some games last year. He's got his feet wet. He had a whole year to develop. I mean, They traded 3 first-round picks to get this guy, so that's
He's got arguably the best head coach in the NFL.
exact in the system that they're gonna run. It tells me like everything I need to know when I'm looking for.
And when you look at their defense side of the ball, Fred Warner's might be the best linebacker in the NFL. They got great playmakers on the outside.
Yeah.
Nick Bosa.
Bosa.
I mean, it's a scary team, and I think the Niners. I think the Niners are not going to be like better than the Rams like substantially.
I agree.
I think it's going to be the exact same as last year. The Rams were a little bit better than the Niners at the end of the season. I think the Niners just flip flop this year.
Yeah, I had the Niners were my team coming into the season last year, and I wouldn't say they disappointed because they didn't, but it was just I feel like really underwhelming.
Yeah, they just didn't really dominate.
Yeah.
If that's what you're expecting, which is
Right.
I think that was due to the quarterback issues a little bit.
They came. I think it's underwhelming, but it's also underrated as they went into Dallas. They handled that team.
They did.
They went into Lambeau.
They went into
Green
Lambeau.
Bay. Green Bay was the favorite to win the Super Bowl.
Okay,
last
but you
year.
go into Lambeau and it's just awful weather. Like, and the Niners are like,
And that's San Francisco
a run first
football
team
right there.
during that. They were a run first team. That's all they were able to do. So that's why they won the game.
But
I really like.
I think to Alex and I's point is, if you're in San Francisco this year, Trey Lance is gonna air the freaking ball out this year compared to Jimmy G.
Yeah. I think he's just ultimately just way more talented.
Yeah, I think.
I mean,
the ceiling is-
everybody can agree.
Sky's the limit for that
But,
team.
and then, what do y'all think of the Arizona Cardinals? Because that's a team that I feel like I really want to love, but I just can't knowingly put them.
I don't
ahead.
have them in the playoffs.
I don't either.
I don't have them in the
I don't
playoffs.
either.
It's
And I like Kyler, and I really love their offense, like especially their weapons that they have. And
Marquise
but
Brown was a great ad.
there's no way I can just put them over the Rams and the 49ers. And I don't see three teams from this division making the playoffs.
No, I see. I think the Eagles are a better team than them. I think
I
the
agree.
Packers are a better team than them.
I
And those are the two other teams that are fighting for a playoff spot.
I like the Saints more than the Cardinals this year.
I think the Saints are a sneaky team.
That's not ridiculous
Moving
to
on
say.
to the NFC
That's not crazy
South.
to say.
I have the Bucks obviously winning the division, but I do have the Saints in second, and I have the Saints making a wild card.
Over who? The Eagles?
No, my wild card.
The
teams-
Vikings?
Yeah, I have the Saints.
No,
over the Vikings.
there's
Yeah,
no
I do.
way.
I do. It just
The Saints over the Vikings?
the Saints have a sneaky good roster. Look at the playmakers they have on offense, and they always have a great defense, especially a great run defense. I
Head
mean,
coach Dennis Allen is going to prioritize that defense too. So
and getting Michael Thomas back, they have Olave, they add Jarvis Landry.
Kamara
Kamara,
obviously is going to go off.
Maybe it's a little Jameis bias, but I think Jameis is gonna have a huge season this year.
You got that. You got that LASIK. So
That's not crazy to say, but if I'm looking at the Vikings or the Saints to get into the playoffs, I'm looking at a much more experienced team than the Vikings. A much better
The
system.
Vikings are better all around than probably the Saints. They better quarterback, better weapons.
I think weapons is close.
I
Weapons
don't.
is closer than
I
you
don't.
think.
Justin
I think
Jefferson,
Jettas
Dalvin Cook,
And Thielen is better than
Irv Smith.
and
I
Kenny
think it's
Olave.
closer than you think.
I don't.
I'm agreeing with you that they have better, but I think it's closer than you think. Okay, so I also want to go to another NFC South team. The Falcons, I think, are going to be terrible. I don't want to even talk about them. They're not trying to win either. Although Pitts and Drake London are very nice.
They're exciting. They're exciting.
But I think the Panthers are a team that could surprise people.
I agree with that.
Because
I agree with that.
they have had a good defense. They have some good weapons on offense. McCaffrey and DJ Moore. In Baker, we've been very, very critical. I've been a very big
I'm a Baker
Baker
guy.
criticist, and I think that Baker, if he's healthy, I think he could do something. I think he could do something.
What was this?
No, bro. He went to OU, bro. UT, bro. Nobody likes Baker.
I like
Baker's
Baker.
Baker's a cocky.
I could
man.
see
That's why I like him.
I could see Baker and the Panthers maybe.
In fact, I could see
making
them
a
going
push.
5-12 maybe.
Yeah, I don't know about offense.
Alright.
I don't know about
I'm not making. They're in the hunt a little bit. I can see them making some
In the
noise.
I can see the Panthers losing
Do
to the
you
Falcons
realistically
this
see them taking over a team like the Vikings?
year.
I'm
beating
not
the
saying
Saints.
make the playoffs. I'm saying in the hunt. I'm saying in the hunt.
There's no good for them being in the hunt. They need to lose.
They'll be the worst team in the hunt, which is the worst team in the NFC.
All right, moving. NFC North. I have the Packers winning the division.
Bias. I got the Vikings.
I think if you don't, I think it's just wrong.
I got the Vikings
Packers have one of the best.
and the coach of the year, Kevin O'Connell.
Well, I mean, considering
I
the
was
Packers
actually-
have one of the best defenses of the league, I don't know how we're taking
The
Vikings
Vikings
over the Packers.
were
So-
hurt. They did not have Daniil Hunter last year. The 4 games he played, he had 5 sacks.
Giant
And
Rodgers
then they
was really
add Zadarius Smith,
Yeah, that is serious, man.
which upgrades their
Keep
team
down the Packers.
that much,
Just keep down
making
the
them
Packers.
the
I
best
don't
team.
care that Devontae Adams left. It's Aaron Rodgers. I mean, it doesn't matter. The Packers are going to win this division.
The Vikings whisper is back. Jay Jettis is actually going to be the offensive.
I don't care. It doesn't matter what Jay Jettis does. They're not.
Why does
winning.
it not?
Because they're not winning the division. They're not winning the division over the Packers.
The Vikings are going to be 10-7, and the Packers are going to be 10-7.
The Vikings are
10-7.
Oh, that's a little disrespectful.
11-6 for the Vikings.
Oh, Aaron Rodgers is not winning less than 11 games. Also, the Vikings are not even going to make the playoffs. So.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
You- that's crazy
I
to
really
say.
don't think it's that crazy.
The Saints are better than the Vikings. What you're telling me?
I think the Saints will make the playoffs, and I think the Vikings will not.
Dude, that's just so biased. So we got Jameis and then we got the Packers.
No, it's not biased. Oh,
mad
okay.
bias.
Y'all are reaching on the bias part.
You even said it was biased.
I said maybe the Jameis part's a little biased. The Packers part is not biased at all. There's no
We gotta
bias.
put the
there.
bias aside, bro.
There's no bias. There's no bias in the
Packers.
Packers.
Alex. Even if the Packers make it to the playoffs, what have they done over and over again?
What if the Vikings
You've
do?
been sobbing
The
in your bed the
Vikings
last 3
were
years.
one game away from making the playoffs last year, right?
They didn't make it though.
Yeah, 1 game away. They new head coach. What was the stat? If you take away the last 2 minutes of each half, the Vikings are like
15-1 this
15
last
win
year.
Well,
team.
that's a very important
Right,
part. of
right,
football.
yeah. And then
It
you
just
say,
happens
and
to
then
be.
that's because it shows how bad of a head coach Zimmer was, and then you add Kevin O'Connor, pass happy team, probably the two best like wide receiver duo in the league. One of
Oh, yes, sir. I love it. I love it.
You
I
have
love to hear
Dalvin
it.
Cook. You
Oh my
had that
God.
solid offensive line. You add Zadarius Smith. Neil Hunter comes back healthy. I think I have them in the NFC Championship.
Hey, man, Vikings are winning the Super Bowl this year, man. Screw it. I'm
Don't
changing my
sleep
pick
on
right
the
now.
dark
Changing my
horse
pick right
Kirk
now.
Cousins MVP season.
All right, we're wrapping
I'm with
this
that.
up.
I'm with that. I'm with that.
All right, we're wrapping this up. It's just,
Yes, sir.
It's gotten out of hand. As soon as y'all said NFC Championship,
Yeah, I'm in the NFC
it
Championship.
just got completely out of hand. All
go.
right, that's
Let's
gonna
go.
wrap it up.
Let's go.
It's just got a little too ridiculous. So that's it for the NFL Division Winners video.
Gritty.
Look out for the Vikings this year.
Stay tuned for our playoff picture, which is going to come right after this to see who out of the teams who make the playoffs we think are actually.
And
gonna
stay tuned for NFL awards predictions. We know who won offense player of the year. We know that. We know it's been MVP. Kirk, Big Kirk. Stay tuned though.
win. That's it.
Peace.